Hello everyone. In this video I will show you how to replace the thermostat in an Atlant brand refrigerator. We have this 2-chamber, 2-compressor refrigerator from Atlant, and recently it stopped working. Or rather, the refrigerator compartment stopped working. You can see that when you open it, there are no signs of life. It doesn't want to work. Let's plug it into the socket. The light turns on, but the temperature in the refrigerator compartment is above zero, meaning the compressor responsible for the refrigerator compartment isn't turning on. We'll try to solve the problem. First of all, with this kind of malfunction, you need to check if the thermostat is working. To do this, unplug the refrigerator from the power supply, and you need to get to the thermostat. The thermostat is located at the top. There are 2 thermostats here, one for the freezer compartment and one for the refrigerator. In order to properly access them, you will first need to carefully remove this entire front cover. Simply take a standard Phillips head screwdriver. Slowly unscrew the main door, and then proceed to unscrew the 2 remaining screws located on the outer sides of this protective cover. After that, pull the cover forward towards yourself to remove it. Just like this. This cover is quite simple and isn't attached by anything else. As you can see, there are 2 thermostats here. One controls the refrigerator compartment and the other controls the freezer. We need to check this thermostat, which is responsible for the refrigerator compartment. To do this, we connect. Set the multimeter to continuity or resistance check mode. You need to check how these 2 contacts are connected. Usually these are the brown and black contacts. They are responsible for the operation of the compressor. Connect to the 2 contacts. We can clearly see that there is absolutely no physical contact. This means the compressor will not turn on. In normal operation, they should connect, and after that, everything in the refrigerator will work. Now let's see what the problem is with this thermostat. In order to remove this thermostat, the first thing you need to do is remember these contacts. Which wires go to which contacts? For me, the black and brown wires go to the top 2 contacts. Brown double wires with a black connector, a green connector on the side, and at the bottom a brown wire with a white connector. At this point, you will need to carefully remove this small lever, and then proceed to set this adjustment wheel over to the very first mode. Look from below, then. You need to very gently press down on this specific part, and then immediately after that, carefully pull it all the way out. The rod. Very carefully so as not to break it. I'm gently pressing this one. With the help of a flat screwdriver, pry the blades and remove the rod from its place. After that, you can proceed to dismantle the thermostat. Using a pair of pliers or perhaps a small wrench, carefully unscrew this mounting nut that holds the thermostat securely to the main refrigerator body. And after that, lift it up. You can see that the thermostat tube, the siphon, goes inside. It needs to be removed. To do this, you'll have to deal with the top cover. In order to reach this tube, which is inside, you need to unscrew the 2 side screws and remove the top cover. We also unscrew them with a Phillips screwdriver. After that, ideally, you should remove the entire top part. Unscrew this bolt and the bolts that hold the door in place, and all the screws that hold this panel in place. But I'm not going to do that. Like one guy I know, I'll just use an ordinary tin can or a support like this tube of cream. We lift this cover and insert the can underneath to make it easier to work. Just like this. After that, you can reach this little tube, the siphon. There's a small amount of some kind of sealant or putty here, and the tube is simply inserted inside into the body of the refrigerator compartment. I am going to carefully pull this entire component out of its protective housing right now. As you can see, it is actually quite a long and substantial section that we are dealing with here. Once that is fully removed, I will then proceed to measure the exact distance from the edge of the putty all the way to this very last part located at the end, and I'll use that as a reference for how far the tube needs to be inserted inside. After that, I measured the distance that needs to be inserted into the freezer compartment. Here it's 50 centimeters. Once that step is fully completed, we carefully extract and remove the internal siphon tube assembly from the housing. Doing everything carefully so as not to damage the wiring. To check the thermostat's contact group, you need to take a flat screwdriver and pry off this upper plastic part from both sides. Here you will have immediate access to the contact group will appear. As you can see, the contact group is completely present. It is burnt out. Everything is blackened. In other words, this thermostat can no longer be repaired. It needs to be replaced. I bought a new thermostat. It looks like this, even with a handle, which I don't need at the moment. We'll remove it. The specific brand of this smart home thermostat is identified as 133-1M. This particular model is quite reliable. This model is not rare, so you can easily find one like it at an auto parts store. After that, we will very carefully straighten this siphon tube so that we can put everything back in its place. But in this case, it needs to be straight. I'll make it almost straight. And after that, we insert the siphon cup back into its place and put it into the refrigerator compartment. From that side, for convenience, I'll mark it. And then I'll draw a small line with this black permanent marker. Let's proceed to install it inside the refrigerator compartment. Insert it all the way in and bend it slightly so that it stays in place under the cover without any kinks or breaks. You see, I bought a replacement relay that's the same, but instead of 4 contacts, it has 3. We're going to improve it. This contact is responsible for the lighting in the refrigerator and for the defrost mode. I will parallel it to the constant power supply. To short these 2 contacts, I used electrical tape and simply shorted them together. The specific circuit, consisting of the black and brown wires, will completely cease to function effectively as a synchronized pair within the system. The only thing that might not work is the disassembly mode. We will unplug the refrigerator sockets and after that connect all the contacts to the terminals. I am not connecting one of the white wires because they are paralleled. Make absolutely sure that you do not forget to securely connect the ground wire to its contact, and then carefully reposition the thermostat back in its original place. Loosen the mounting nut, lower it into place, and screw it in. Tighten this nut well, using pliers for assistance. Once you have completed that step, carefully set the selector switch to the very first mode and then proceed to insert the lever into the opening. Make sure to push it all the way in, continuing until you hear or feel it securely lock into its final place. After the lever is secured, you must thoroughly check the overall operation and responsiveness of the temperature control dial to ensure everything is working correctly. And now you can reassemble everything in reverse order. Remove the stand from under the climate unit and lower it down onto the cover until it locks into place. Screw it in place. and put the cover back in its place. And we screw in the lower bolts. After that, we'll turn on the refrigerator and check how it works. The compressors have started working. The refrigerator compressor and the freezer compressor. Now we just need to wait a little to check how the surface cools and when they will turn off. At the moment, the low temperature indicators are on. The interior light inside the refrigerator is perfectly working. And we'll keep monitoring its operation. You have watched a video about how to replace the thermostat in a refrigerator if it doesn't turn on. Leave your feedback and comments, like the video, and subscribe to our channel. Stay with us. Goodbye, everyone.